Again.
Just to give you a heads up, I'm here. I'm almost ready to get on camera. I'll be back in a minute.
All right, cool.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Boston Independent Drivers Guild. This is the Boston Independent Drivers Guild coming at you on March 23rd, 2022. And the topic for today is Rideshare 101 taxes. Okay, it's tax time. Now, I don't know if you're going to be crying, making it rain in tears, or making it rain in tax refunds. However, this is just some advice for our fellow rideshare drivers and gig workers. And as we know, one uncle you don't want to mess with when it comes to the tax world is Uncle Sam. And so just to give us some background, Steve, are you able to just give us some background about BIDG and how it started? Are you able to do that right now while I start sharing this with the others in the group?
Yeah, I can.
Do me a favor.
So basically about taxes. So yeah, basically almost just about everything is a tax write-off. Your mileage.
Oh, this is about just what BIDG is, when we started, what we're about.
Oh, yeah. So BIDG is basically, we are your friend and your shoulder. Well, we're here to protect you any way we can. So we started this group in an effort to make sure that we help you learn, help educate you in your rights and whatever else there is, as far as news and ride sharing, delivery, you name it, we can try and get you it as best we can. We're here fighting for you. You're welcome to join us too in the fight to protect your rights, ensure that these companies are going to obey the law in every fashion. It is a long fight. It's been a long fight, but we're making strides and we're winning. So that's the good thing. They hate us, but hey, so what?
I think that's a little biased commenting, but anyways, let's keep it to the topics. Positivity. We want to talk about positivity here, okay?
Just keeping it real.
Okay. Thank you so much for that introduction. And we started in 2018. It was a group of drivers. We have one of the original, one of the original founders of the organization here. And, we just came together because we saw that we had the same issues as drivers and gig workers, helping gig workers, and that together we are stronger. And so my thing is, a lot of people have questions about taxes. We've actually had people that didn't know sometimes you get more than one 1099 from Uber and Lyft, or if you're doing a lot of, different things, people don't know. And it's understandable. And so we just want to make sure, and we're going to put a disclaimer up here. I am a tax preparer. I passed my IRS test to prepare taxes. I have a PTIN, but each and every client situation is different. So please reach out to a qualified, and I say qualified tax professional, someone that specializes in rideshare or small business taxes, because sometimes you could have a CPA and they're just trying to get as many tax returns done, and they're not taking the TLC, the time and the care and individualized attention that you need for your business. I've seen it happen, especially with helping drivers apply for the PPP. And, the idle loans, and we don't want that to happen to anyone. It's kind of crazy. We want everybody to eat, everybody to be okay. And so just to let you know, so usually you're going to get a 1099, whether it's a 1099, it's called an NEC, a 1099 miscellaneous, a
Yeah,
1099K,
1099K.
whatever it is for some of our livery drivers that take debit cards and credit cards. You'll get your 1099 from Stripe. I know I do Cash App, whatever it is. And also what's really important is that end of the year summary that's from Uber and Lyft. Because from what I find looking at drivers' end of year summaries and looking what's on their 1099s, it doesn't always add up. There's always a discrepancy. And usually the 1099 end of year summary is extra. Another thing is Uber and Lyft don't take taxes out for you. Some drivers have thought that taxes are taken out for you. That is not necessarily the case.
When you're a 1099, you are what they call an independent contractor or a self-governed business.
And so once you get that 1099, that makes you a business owner. You can apply to get an EIN, which is an employer identification number, on an IRS website. It's irs.gov/EIN. And you usually can do it within business operating hours between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so with that 1099, you get to write off something called write-offs and deductions. And one of the things you could write off mileage, or you could write off expenses for your car. You usually can't do both. It's either one or the other, but you can also write off the tolls, those fees, whether it's express pay fees, the service fees, whatever Uber is taking, Lyft is taking their cut of, Amazon is taking their cut of, you want to write off. Another thing that's really important as well is that you're gonna get that 1099 and they're reporting to the IRS. Like, let's say I've seen a driver's tax return, they made over $100,000. But once you deducted the fees that Uber and Lyft took out of them, their car expenses, their mileage, they were actually in the red. It actually ended being up negative. So that's another thing you have to watch out for. It's kind of like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul and everything. And also your tax preparation, fees are deductible. Another thing sometimes drivers miss, one of the biggest things that they miss, where you're underestimating your mileage, sometimes upwards of 30 to 40%, is actually a lot of times Uber and Lyft are only giving you the mileage while you're actually online. Or while you have, when you're on a passenger, when you're on a job. So I know a lot of people like Stride. I love Hurdler because they have a paid option and you could connect your bank accounts. You could actually even connect your Uber account to it. That's what I really love about it. And at the end of the year, they'll actually do your taxes for you. And it's such a great tool. It's one of my favorite things to do. And you could also write off depreciation. You can actually write off the interest of, if you have a car note, you can actually write off the interest as well too. And so a lot of things, like, I know I went crazy with COVID, so I probably have cleaning supplies. I think between last year and this year, I spent 2020 and 2021, I probably spent about $5,000-$6,000 on gloves, cleaning supplies, masks, you name it. Sanitizer, sanitizer, whatever you like to call it. I went all out, especially the way people were acted. It was like, man, toilet paper, you could have gotten gold for toilet paper. We all remember those times. And so
That was kind of funny because I thought people were like crapping their pants or something, you know.
no, I bought some wipes. I was like all out. I had a little stash. I still have a little stash. I got my NIOSH respirators, my KN95s, my medical surgical mask. I was not messing around. Like I got the Lysol, the Microban, you name it. Whatever killed the Rona, COVID, the Roro, whatever you like to call it. I had it. I still have it in the house. You know, so I probably will need to buy some cleaning supplies for the next few years.
I got a shield. I did not want to be
Oh
coughed
yeah,
on and spit on.
I got those too.
Sneezed on.
Some people actually paid for those.
She's gonna give us time to try to get that money.
What do you call it? What do you call that?
The
You have
cheesy
it, Steven.
Uber and Lyft shields.
Yeah, the big ones, like taxi cabs usually have them, and drivers still have those. Those are those are tax deductible. You know, your car washes are tax deductible, whether you choose to do the mileage or not. Your snacks, your waters for your passengers. Another thing too is honestly, oh yeah, what was it? I just had it. I have a list, believe me, but I'm trying not to, try not to read. I want to give my attention to all you wonderful people out there tuning in. And so another thing that is tax deductible is your mileage to and from the doctor. If you had to go to the doctor because of COVID, if you were volunteering, if you were dropping off meals to elders and sick and shut in, I did that during the pandemic. That's something that's tax deductible. And also, if you had to quarantine because of COVID, if you were exposed to COVID, if you had a bad reaction, if you received the vaccine, you're also allowed up to 10 days off, and you're still allowed up to 10 days off for a child or other relative and or family member. Those are actually some deductions that you're able to take too. And if some of you guys have children, I know I have one, and it seems like the older they get, the more expensive they get. Tell me about it.
Oh yeah.
And so what you can actually do too is, they're going to hit you up for money anyways. They want to go to the mall, or I know because of COVID, the PlayStation was on fire. They want to play these video games with their friends because they couldn't go outside because the parks were closed. So you can actually, 7 years old and up, you can actually hire your children to work for your business. You can have them do filing. You can have them do paperwork. 7-year-olds can do math. 8-year-olds can do math. Teenagers can do math. I used to have my daughter do that for me, keep my paperwork, do my bookkeeping. I also have other businesses outside of rideshare. So you're able to pay your children actually up to $12,000, and they don't have to pay taxes on them. You can actually make them your own independent contractor. They're able to make up to $12,000 per year. You could hire your spouse as an independent contractor. You could do all of that too, because everybody knows,
People would think that that's a joke, but it's actually real.
No, yeah, you can actually do that. You could actually do that. You could write off a percentage of your cell phone, your internet. I have Pandora for the passengers. When I used to drive, I actually used to have a streaming cable service and have a pad for the passengers to actually watch. So that was also tax deductible, having the cable in the car for the passengers to watch as well. If you have to travel.
Okay,
let's do talk.
if you have like Play Octopus and Elfie in the back, that's a great chance to get you added income too, to
Yeah.
offset those taxes too.
And they'll be sending you a 1099 at the end of the year. So,
Yep.
you could write that off too. But those are tax breaks that most people don't realize. Even parking. When I pay to park, that's tax deductible. You have to go to another state to drop off a passenger. One time that happened to me, it was in the middle of the night. If you have to stay in a whole, your travel expenses for going way out of town, those are things that are tax deductible as well.
You
Legal
want
and
to be nice
professional
and
services. Some of us, like me, we have our businesses in an LLC. So we have a FEIN. That's $520 to the state of Massachusetts every year. Some of us have corporations. I had to pay an attorney to do my articles of organization, and to do all of those things. That costs money. Having a business bank account, all of this costs money. Even if your livery, advertising, your business cards, all of those things cost money. Your office expenses, I'm just trying to tell you. Also, wages and insurance other than health, too. That's also tax deductible. And so, does anyone else have any other things that are tax deductible?
yeah, there's quite a few other things like if you need floor mats in your car,
Mm-hmm.
windshield wipers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say a light bulb goes out in your car, headlights, any type of uh, there's some maintenance you can do, but they're very particular about it. Um,
Mm-hmm. And one of the
so
biggest things I want to explain to people, what's the most disallowed deduction, especially for small businesses, is the mileage. That's why you need an app like Hurdler or Stride. We gonna put a code so that everyone tuning in with us, watching us, can get a discount. We'll be able to get a discount to get that app at a discounted price. And they even said instead of going after these big multi-billion-dollar corporations, they're going to target little guys like you and me that are getting 1099s to see what to see what taxes that they can get. So it's really important. You want to make sure that you separate your personal mileage from your business mileage. Some people have separate cars. Some people, use the app
oh
and so
yeah,
between. You really want to make sure, because that is one of the number one disallowed write-offs that the IRS disallows if you happen to be audited. And
if
you
you have
really,
two
like I said,
cars, and
the one uncle you don't want to mess with is Sam. And also, if you have that option to pay for that audit protection, pay the few extra, however many dollars it is, because it is worth the weight in gold. You don't want to have to hire an EA or a CPA or a tax attorney to represent you if you ever were to get audited. And being a small business owner increases your chances to get audited. So I just wanted to ask, has anyone ever had any tax nightmares with the IRS? I've seen
yeah,
drivers that have submitted. I asked them for their documents when helping them apply for the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Plan loans, or the Economic Injury Disaster loans. And I was like, well, I see this 1099 here, but this isn't on your taxes, you know? So does anyone have any tax horror stories that they would like to share with us?
yeah.
Has anyone ever owed Uncle Sam?
Oh yeah.
So Steve, you want
I
to
got a
go?
tax levy. I had a tax
Oh,
levy.
that doesn't
So
sound
that's
fun.
not
So
fun.
so what happened? What happened with that?
I found out eventually it was because I didn't file the taxes for my stock portfolio, and
Ooh.
I had taken out a hardship withdrawal, and it took them 4 years to get to me. But they nailed me on it for $6,000
Wow.
and penalties. So I had to pay that. So yeah, lost a bank account. Luckily, I have multiple bank accounts, so I can separate my personal money from my business money
Mm-hmm.
and whatever other business ventures I'm into. But yeah, it was not fun. You can
Yeah.
lose your bank account with the tax levy because they can take out all the money that's in your account to pay the levy,
Mm-hmm.
and then the bank once the account's been in a negative balance, they can terminate your account because of the 10-day grace period that they give you. Once you go over that grace period, that's it. Now you have to open a new bank account.
Yeah, and they can report you to like LexisNexis. So
Yeah,
that's
not
another
fun.
thing. I had a tax story, but this was when I was really, 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 really young. It was
I
my
gotta have
first
you teach
encounter
me
with
about
the
the LLCs.
IRS. Never ever have a certain amount of money in your bank account, but you're not claiming any taxes. That's all I'm gonna say. I learned the hard way, but it only cost me a couple $100, thankfully. That was it. So like I said, to each and every one, you know, you just want to not mess with Uncle Sam. Believe me, Uncle Sam is not for play. And just to let everyone know, I'm telling you, we wish another thing I forgot to say. This is really, really important. I can't believe I forgot to say this. And this is they like save the best for last. One of the most important things I forgot to say. So because of the CARES Act, you can actually go off of your 2019 taxes, your 2020 taxes, or your 2021 taxes and see which refund is going to give you the highest return. That's what they're doing with the CARES Act. And also, if you end up having a loss because of those years, you can actually you can decide. Let's say you might have owed Uncle Sam some money the years before. You can actually take that loss and carry it back 5 years, up to 5 years, and actually increase your refund. So you can actually amend your tax return. And hopefully that will put a significant amount of money back in your pockets. You can also carry those losses forward forever. And another good thing about the PPP was that money doesn't count as taxable income on the state or the federal level. And you get to write off the expenses that you use the PPP money for. So that is really, really, really awesome. So it doesn't count as taxable income at all. It was basically just like a gift. Like, thank you, Uncle Sam. And another thing, if you
Also,
received grant money that outside of that PPP or economic injury disaster loan grant, the EIDL grant, you do need to claim that on your taxes because a lot of the grantors actually, I know I received a few grants during COVID because of COVID, and I have to claim that as income. And so that's why you really want to see a tax professional, because TurboTax isn't going to tell you that. I know they're not. And then you don't want, if you got a $10,000 grant or a $50,000 grant and the IRS is banging down your door, why? That might be why. Because you had to fill out a W-9 in order to receive that grant money. So what were you going to say, Steve?
the CARES Act also made us employees during that time period.
Oh, yeah, it made us eligible for pandemic.
Categories.
It made us eligible for pandemic unemployment assistance, and a significant portion of that, I think it was $10,800. Actually,
Yep.
they actually deducted that too. So you got to they subtracted that from unemployment. So that's also something that could help you out as well. I also wanted to let people know, if you're in the state of Massachusetts, there are VITA tax centers in the state of Massachusetts. It's a great program. It stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. And I actually am working with that program in the city of Boston. They do offer, basic tax preparation. If you have more complicated tax preparation, they're not able to help you. But if you have like basic things, and if you made less than, I believe it's $57,000. Yep, $57,000 or less. And if you are disabled, elderly, they have translators. They are here to help you out. Why pay TurboTax all this money or Jackson Hewitt when you can have qualified professionals do your taxes for free? However, it's, they have a list of what they can and can't help with. And so I just wanted to share that resource with everyone. It is a resource available for middle and lower income earners in the state of Massachusetts. So does anyone have anything else to say?
Yeah.
Dave, are you itching to say something or no? Steve, you want to say something?
I think you're pretty well covering everything. You kind of leave me speechless here. You're doing a good job, Beth.
Dave's our treasurer,
Well,
so
one
you know
thing,
he's
yeah,
gonna keep you in check. Dave is the treasurer of the organization. Okay, so he's the numbers man for the organization.
You got to teach me. You got to teach me about these LLCs, because I've been looking into them, and there's something about them that I really am intrigued on, and I want to know more about it.
Yeah, I mean,
because as soon as
that class,
I'm able to next year,
about livery.
I'm starting my own business.
Awesome. That's what we need. We need more entrepreneurs. We need more people to start their own businesses. And if you have any questions, I actually will put the link in for the free tax prep. You just put your information in, you go to this website, and this is where you go if you want more information about the free tax preparation. So it's a great resource. It's some great people. Hablamos español. I think. Oh yeah. I think they have Spanish. They have Haitian Creole speakers. And I believe in certain locations they have Portuguese, they have Cape Verdean Creole, they have Chinese, they have Vietnamese. I know ABCD and a lot of the community neighborhood organizations also participate in this program. So there is a VITA center near you. So if you're in that income range, please don't hesitate to take advantage of it. And they'll let you know if you qualify or you don't qualify for the free tax prep. And even if you've done cryptocurrency, they can help you out. So that's within the scope of work that they can do. So does anyone have any other comments or concerns or anything?
Yeah, you got to teach us about those LLCs. I want to get into one.
Oh, I can. I'll be offering that, but that's gonna have to wait until after tax season. I call it tax HE double hockey sticks because really that's how busy I am. Almost forgot about this live stream tonight on StreamYard. Thank God for Google Calendar. That's all I can say. So thank you so much for joining with us. We will be posting the link also for Hurdle, and we'll repost the link for the tax prep. And if anyone is interested in also getting an EIN number, because honestly, you don't want to put your social security number on everything. So that's what an EIN number is good for. It protects you when you're not, It's connected to your social, but you don't have to use your social as a sole proprietor, or whether you have a corporation or an LLC, because we all know everyone's trying to steal identities out here. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of your evening. Bye.